I've always wanted to do something with sort of a Latin percussion avenue. Like, I mean, I've done it with Indian music, tabla and various Indian percussion instruments. So, but the Latin thing, I don't know, there's something different about it. Not only the feel, obviously, that's, the number one thing, but even the sonority of the way all these instrumentals play with their fingers, basically. But I think with the Latin side, they kind of hit. I'm not an expert at this, but they kind of hit it with the side of their palm sometimes. And it's just a different sort of reflection of a skin percussion instrument. And of course, the tradition of it all, when you find these percussionists, they generally teach you a few things from the Latin world or the African world. And that's something I've always been interested in. I've done a little research into it, but not nearly as much as I should.
And so is that your attempt now to just sort of explore the sonority like you mentioned and explore for the purpose of just understanding?
Oh, no, no, definitely not just for the purpose of understanding. The music has to engineer itself towards that feeling. And a lot of it is 12/8 or 6/8 or that kind of triplet feeling. It also has to do with the personnel in the group. Eric McPherson's on drums. I'll just say this is the third record that we've done so far
Mm.
with this group. And it's a very percussive ensemble, given that there's vibes, which is really a percussion instrument in some sense, and guitar, which is, you're plucking it. That's very percussive. And Stefan Crump is also a very percussive bass player. He's very funky and he digs in. Interestingly enough, as percussive and funky Eric McPherson is, he plays with a lot more space than a lot of drummers. My last two records were a little bit more, for lack of a better word, spacious, in terms of, they grooved and they moved forward and all that, but they also contain this magical element that I don't even know how Eric does it, quite honestly. He's very open-ended in his drum approach. And it's a great thing for a lot of music. When I started writing this project, I thought it'd be great to have Eric do his thing, which I'm pretty familiar with, along with a percussionist who can sort of accentuate on sort of Eric's thing and sort of fill in the gaps. Eric, no, he doesn't need to continue to play more, but he can play him completely. I don't have to tell him, hey, can you play more here? It's sort of like, just do your thing and this guy will fill in the rest. And so I did hear a denser way of approaching this record, and that's where it comes down to. That's what it boils down to.